Hello viewers, this is Ensomniak, and I guess it's my turn. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about religion and atheism and how it relates and kind of apparently doesn't relate to urban music. I chose this topic because I make music and, you know, I'm in the little niche as far as some of the stuff I do, atheist hip-hop. I'm going to give you some links and tell you a little bit about that later. But first I'll let you know a little bit about myself. I've been working in it, making atheist hip-hop for about 4 years, something like that, maybe 5 years. Actually, you know what? Probably a little longer than that. I don't make songs that often because I do some other hip-hop, some real like geeky, nerdy stuff, because, you know, that's who I am. And also, I do a bunch of other things. You know, I'm a photographer, I'm a writer, I do a little bit of comedy stuff, and I don't focus. I do too many things. So, anyway, today is about music, but let's see a little bit more about myself. My approach to it is to, like, I guess, attack the ideas and make people question things, make sure I don't attack the actual people, because in many cases, I don't feel it's a believer's fault that they are. They kind of, you know, a little bit got brainwashed or got spoon-fed as a children and they don't know how to let go or fear or whatever other reason. But it is what it is. So I try to make sure they can at least look at and analyze and evaluate what they believe, and hopefully, you know, it can bring them to reason, because that's, I think, what most of us are here for. Anyway, in black music, urban music, African American music, whatever you might want to call it, throughout the history of this country, as most people know, spirituals were one of the first things that kind of got known for what black people did, sang, and, you know, presented. And of course, that came into gospel music. It went through, I guess, there's even been some country. Of course, we've done rock. We've done everything as a culture when it comes to music in this country. Like, we've been a part of every single part of it. But unfortunately, something else that has always been a part is religion, and mostly Christianity. I guess the vast majority, probably like 90+%, you know, Christianity. And unfortunately, they still haven't gotten away from that hardly at all. It's hard to find an artist, like any kind of a black artist, you know, that does anything, especially in contemporary music, whether it be hip-hop, R&B, anything else pop, that would openly even say they're an atheist, much less make any music that focuses on that speaks to it or speaks about it. But I guess conversely, you'll find plenty of mainstream artists that'll do a gospel song in a second. They'll do songs talking about, you know, throwing around, you know, Jesus name drops, or, you know, how they love God, or being, you know, or praying for somebody as if it's a positive thing or meaningful thing. Happens all the time. And it's nothing. People shrug it off and they find it just to be part of culture, part of life, and unfortunately for too many people, it is. I guess part of one reason I make the music I make is to push against that a bit, because it doesn't represent everybody. It's unfortunately too many people though. But it doesn't represent me. It never has. I've never been a believer, which is a true anomaly I've found among black people in this country. I've honestly met like maybe 1 or 2 other people in my life that were black and never a believer. Most of them used to be of some sort and then got away from it later on in life. I wasn't raised around it, or wasn't raised with it. I went to church a few times, but I think my mother was like a CNE, you know, Catholic, and my dad kind of didn't care. He just didn't do it. And he was an atheist before I guess I realized what an atheist was, but he never actually steered me in that path. He always just taught me how to think, but he never told me what to think, which I always appreciated. And I try to do the same thing to other people, you know, and because I telling people what to think will rarely work in my experience. As far as not telling them, you know, telling them the truth, telling them something rational, something, you know, logical, something with evidence. And I'm hoping that, maybe I can shed a little light on a few more people. But I've tried to do research, I've tried to look through different archives of music artists and songs, and I really had a hard time finding pretty much anything that was atheist related, that questioned belief. One song I do like now to this day because of the fact that it's really, questioning some things and kind of, shining a light on people and following whatever, God is saying, is a song called God Said by an R&B artist named Anthony David. And honestly, I recommend the song. I'll probably put a link to that, in the description here. But I really like the song. It's good, and it's well orchestrated, it's well organized, it's well arranged, written, and it's one of the few examples you'll see in urban music, especially of an artist, and he's not a really big artist, but he has gained some mainstream popularity that actually questions religion, because most of them support it wholeheartedly as if it's just a wonderful thing. And I guess to some people it is, but I can't support such delusions. I wish I could find a way to encourage more people to do such things, but it's going to be really hard to do so because it's so ingrained in the culture that it seems like it's almost impossible for many to get away from. It's just enough just to get them to stop believing in it, but to actually express themselves like in contrast to it or in contradiction of it or even challenging it is a much harder thing. And I found that to be, true with black people in any art form and any type of expression. It's unfortunate that it's that way, and I think honestly something needs to be done about it to try to get out of this quagmire. Like I went to, an organization meeting recently, and it was a business meeting about minority-owned businesses, and they had a prayer before it started. I don't see why that's necessary. You don't need Jesus to help you diversify your portfolio or to get loyal customers. It's ridiculous, but there's nothing pushing back, and I so want to encourage people to push back against this because it's a tide that needs to be stopped, because it's just been there seemingly forever, and I don't see a practical way out of it. But like I said, what I do is hopefully at least something a few people might be able to relate to, while others may not. Yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is being able to relate to some things like that. As I mentioned, I am an atheist. I have always been an atheist because I never actually believed. When I was a kid, maybe if you said, hey, you believe in God, I probably would have said, I guess. But I didn't actually think about it. So I didn't believe it, I did not believe either. I never thought, hey, this is a true thing or this is a false thing. To me, it was a thing. People believed in it. Some people cared about it. I never cared. So I was more of an atheist, I guess, when I was a kid. By the time I actually started looking into it, studying it, reading about it, I was an atheist because I was like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And I went to Catholic schools, for a few years growing up. Didn't believe it then. I stopped going to church. I think the last time I actually went to a church service, I maybe was like 11, as a kid. And I think I went maybe a couple times for some stupid reasons, years after. But I never went for me. I never went because I wanted to go or because I cared about it. But to this day, I have trouble relating with other atheists when they talk about, things they went through with religion. It's mostly been an annoyance to me most of my life. It's been aggravating that people believe in such ridiculousness. It's been annoying that people bring it into and make it part of everything they do. Yes, I lost a few chances at dates because of it, but again, I guess those weren't the people I should have dealt with anyway. But yeah, it can be rough, but it's had to be much rougher on some other people who actually, say, had friends or family members, disown them or disregard them because of the fact that they stopped believing or something like that. Because I've never had that. I found a pretty unique situation. I have a family that kind of cares less what I believe. They're not atheists, other than my father, but they're not like really fundamentalist believers either. They kind of are really nonchalant about it. They know I don't believe. They don't care. And it's like, all right, well, do your thing. I guess I've kind of been that way to most people. Of course, when people are too like into it, it gets annoying, as I stated. But you know, so I'm a like black atheist who hasn't had, you know, the pressure from a religious family, and I've never actually believed myself. So the deconversion stories, all that grief and guilt and trials and all that, can't relate to it. It's not been my life. And it's sometimes like it gets difficult trying to have some of these conversations where people are just like, oh yeah, and then, you know, this person was so mad at me when they found out. I was just like, no, okay, I guess that sucks. I don't know what to tell you, but it's life for some people. But anyway, I guess that's all I really wanted to say about that. I never really expected or intended to talk at length because, like I said, it's an entirely strange scenario for me. Like I said, a lot of people, I don't have like the anger, the fire a lot of people have, but I definitely do want change, and I kind of push forward in my own way. But I wanted to reserve most of, I guess, the little half an hour time I was allotted actually for Q&A and to welcome and invite people to check out my music. If you have any questions about it, what might have inspired me, what, you know, ideas I have for the future, explaining anything, you know, just tell me what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you think you might be better if I did this or that. Like, let me know. I'm going to have links to all of that in the description. And, you know, I would want anybody to check it out. Let me know what you think, because I think it can help some people, and I think a lot of people will just enjoy it, because I still think I make good music, whether it's atheist related or not. I actually have a new song coming out soon. I wanted to get it done by the time this, you know, was presented, but I've had a super busy last few weeks, and I was able to finish writing it. The instrumental is all ready for it, but I did not get to record and mix it yet. So I'll hopefully be doing that very soon and getting it out to you. It's called Plagiarism. You can probably guess what it's about. So anyway, hope what I said was interesting enough. Didn't want to talk your ear off or bore you. And, you know, like I said, the links are going to be in the description, and you can let me know what you think. And, you know, I'm going to do my Q&A, I guess, on this. Anyway, Ensomniak, you can catch me on Facebook. You know, I think it's Ensomniak the Free Thinker, or Ensomniak, I think Audio is my other music page. Other than that, some of the people know me. You can find me elsewhere too. I have 2 Facebook pages, but this is the one I use for this stuff. I'm big into, like I said, comedy too, so I have a lot of funny stuff on my page. You can check that out if you want to as well. So, anyway, enjoy the rest of the convention.